Hello and good evening, boys and girls. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our Facebook page. Welcome to our Story Wonder. So, today, as you can see, was Sports Day, so I'm still rocking my jersey and my hat. We will continue reading our story. Today, we're going to pick up on page 131. We left off with Summer and Augie really having a heart-to-heart and just talking about Augie and his condition, Summer and her family, how he feels. He was honest with her and told her why he was out of school and how his feelings were hurt. So let's continue. The Egyptian tomb. Excuse me. Over the next month, August and I hung out a lot after school, either at his house or my house. August's parents even invited Mom and me over for dinner a couple of times. I overheard them talking about fixing Mom up on a blind date with August's Uncle Ben. On the day of the Egyptian Museum exhibit, we were all really excited and kind of giddy. It had snowed the day before, not as much as it had snowed over the Thanksgiving break, but still, snow is snow. The gym was turned into a giant museum with everyone's Egyptian artifact displayed on a table with a little caption card explaining what the thing was. Most of the artifacts were really great, but I have to say I really think mine and August's were the best. My sculpture of Anubis looked pretty real, and I had even used real gold paint on it. And August had made his step pyramid out of sugar cubes. It was 2 feet high. Sorry, guys. Make sure my phone. It was 2 feet high and 2 feet long, and he had spray painted the cubes with the kind of fake sand paint or something. It looked so awesome. We all dressed up in Egyptian costumes. Some of the kids were Indiana Jones type archaeologists. Some of them dressed up like fairs. August and I dressed up like mummies. Our faces were covered except for 2 little holes for the eyes and the 1 little hole for the mouth. When the parents showed up, they all lined up in the hallway in front of the gym. Then we were told we could get our parents, and each kid got to take his or her parent on a flashlight tour through the dark gym. August and I took our moms around together. We stopped at each exhibit explaining what it was, talking in whispers, answering questions. Since it was dark, we used our flashlights to illuminate the artifacts while we were talking. Sometimes, for dramatic effect, we would hold the flashlight under our chins while we were explaining something in detail. It was so much fun hearing all these whispers in the dark and seeing all the lights zigzagging around the dark room. At one point, I went over to get a drink at the water fountain, and I had to take the mummy wrap off my face. "Hey, Summer," said Jack. Who came over to talk to me? He was dressed like the man from The Mummy. Cool costume. Thanks. Is the other mummy August? Yeah. Hey, do you know why August is mad at me? Uh-huh, I nodded. Can you tell me? No. He nodded. He seemed bummed. I told him I wouldn't tell you, I explained. It's so weird, he said. I have no idea why he's mad at me at all and at me all of a sudden. None. Can't you at least give me a hint? I looked over at where August was across the room talking to our moms. I wasn't about to break my solid oath that I wouldn't tell anyone about what he overheard at Halloween, but I felt bad for Jack. Bleeding scream, I whispered in his ear and then walked away. Part 4, Jack. Now here's The Call, page 134. So, in August, my parents got this call from Mr. Tushman, that middle school director, and my mom said, maybe he calls all the new students to welcome them, and my dad said, that's a lot of kids he'd be calling. So my mom called him back, and I could hear her talking to Mr. Tushman on the phone. This is exactly what she said. Oh, hi, Mr. Tushman. This is Amanda Will, returning your call. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. He is looking forward to it. Yes. Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, that's so nice of you to say. Sure. Oh, wow. Super long pause. I see. Of course. I'm sure he will. Let me write it down. Got it. I'll call you after I've had a chance to talk to him, okay? No, thank you for thinking of him. Bye-bye. And when she hung up, I was like, what's up? What did he say? And Mom said, well, it's actually very flattering, but kind of sad too. See, there's this boy who started middle school this year, and he's never been in real school environment before because he was homeschooled. So Mr. Tushman talked to some of the lower school teachers to find out who they thought were some of the really, really great kids coming into 5th grade, and the teachers must have told him, you were an especially nice kid. Which I already knew, of course, and so Mr. Tushman is wondering if he could count on you sort of to shepherd this new boy around a bit. Like, let him hang out with me, I said. Exactly, said Mom. He called today, welcome, buddy. But why me? I told you, your teachers told Mr. Tushman that you were the kind of kid who's known for being a good A. I mean, I'm so proud that they think so highly of you. So why is it sad? Well, what do you mean? You said it's flattering, but kind of sad too. Oh, Mom nodded. Well, apparently this boy has some sort of, I guess there's something wrong with his face or something like that. Not sure. Maybe he was in an accident? Mr. Tushman said he'd explain a bit more when you come to school next week. School doesn't start till September. He wants you to meet this kid before school starts. Do I have to? Mom looked a bit surprised. Well, no, of course not, she said, but if you would be the nice thing, it would be the nice thing to do, Jack. If I don't have to do it, I said, I don't want to do it. Can you at least think about it? I'm thinking about it and I don't want to do it. Well, I'm not going to force you, she said, but at least think about it some more, okay? I'm not calling Mr. Tushman back until tomorrow, so just sit with it a bit. I mean, Jack, I really don't think it's that much to ask that you spend a little extra time with some new kid. It's not just that he's a new kid, Mom, I answered. He's deformed. That's a terrible thing to say, Jack. He is, Mom. You don't even know who he is. Yeah, I do. I said, because I knew the second she started talking about him that it was the kid named August. Carvel. I remember seeing him for the first time in front of the Carvel on Amesford Avenue when I was about 5 or 6. Me and Veronica, my babysitter, were sitting on the bench outside the store with Jamie, my baby brother, who was sitting in his stroller facing us. I guess I was busy eating my ice cream cone because I didn't even notice the people who sat down next to us. Then at one point I turned my head to suck the ice cream out of the bottom of my cone, and that's when I saw him. August. He was sitting right next to me. I know it wasn't cool, but I kind of went, ugh, when I saw him because I honestly got scared. I thought he was wearing a zombie mask or something. I was kind of, when you're watching a scary movie and the bad guy like jumps up out of the bushes, ugh. Anyway, I know it wasn't nice of me to do, and though the kid didn't hear me, I know his sister did. Jack, we have to go, said Veronica. She had gotten up and was turning the stroller around because Jamie, who had obviously just noticed the kid too, was about to say something embarrassing. So I jumped up kind of suddenly like a bee had landed on me and followed Veronica as she zoomed away. I could hear the kid's mom saying softly behind us, okay, guys, I think it's time to go. And I turned around to look at them one more time. The kid was licking his ice cream cone, and the mom was picking up his scooter. And the sister was glaring at me like she was going to kill me. I looked away quickly. Veronica, what was wrong with that kid? I whispered. Hush, boy, she said, her voice angry. I love Veronica, but when she got mad, she got mad. Meanwhile, Jamie was practically spilling out of his stroller, trying to get another look at Veronica, and Veronica pushed him away. But Veronica, said Jamie, you boys are very naughty, said Veronica. And as soon as we farther down the block, staring like that, I didn't mean to, I said. Veronica, leaving like that, Veronica was muttering. Oh, Lord, that poor lady. I tell you, boys, every day we should thank Lord for our blessings. Do you hear me? Monica, what is it, Jamie? Is it Halloween? No, Jamie. Then why was the boy wearing a mask? Veronica didn't answer. Sometimes when she was mad about something, she would do that. He wasn't wearing a mask, I explained to Jamie. Hush, Jack, said Veronica. Why are you so mad, Veronica? I couldn't help asking. I thought this would make her angrier, but actually she shook her head. It was bad how we did that, she said, just getting up like that, like we'd seen the devil. I was scared for what Jamie was going to say, you know? I didn't want him to say anything that would hurt that little boy's feelings. But it was very bad us leaving like that. That mama knew what was going on. But we didn't mean it, I answered. Jack, sometimes you don't have to mean to hurt someone to hurt someone. Do you understand? That was the first time I have ever saw August in the neighborhood, at least that I remember. But I've seen him around ever since then. A couple of times in the playground, a few times in the park. He used to wear an astronaut helmet sometimes, but I always knew it was him underneath the helmet. All the kids in the neighborhood knew it was him. Everyone has seen August at some point or another. Well, we all know his name, though he doesn't know ours. And whenever I've seen him, I try to remember what Veronica said. But it's hard. It's hard not to sneak a second look. It's hard to act normal when you see him. Why I'm changing my mind. Who else did Mr. Tushman call? I asked Mom later that night. Did he tell you? He mentioned Julian and Charlotte. Julian, I said. Ugh, why Julian? You used to be friends with Julian. Mom, that was like in kindergarten, and Julian's the biggest phony there is, and he's trying so hard to be popular all the time. Well, said Mom, at least Julian agreed to help this kid out. Gotta give him credit for that. I didn't say anything because she was right. And what about Charlotte? I asked. Is she doing it too? Yes, Mom said. Of course she is. Charlotte's such a goody two-shoes, I answered. Boy, Jack, said Mom, you seem to have a problem with everybody these days. It's just, I started. Mom, you have no idea what that kid looks like. I can imagine. No, you can't. You've never seen him. I have. It might not even be who you're thinking of. Trust me, it is. And I'm telling you, it's really bad. He's deformed, Mom. His eyes are like down here, and I pointed to my cheeks, and he has no ears, and his mouth is like... Jamie had walked into the kitchen to get a juice box from the fridge. Ask Jamie. I said, right, Jamie? Remember that kid we saw in the park after school last year, the kid named August, the one with the face? Oh, that kid? Said Jamie. His eyes opened wide, and he gave me a nightmare. Remember, Mommy? That nightmare about the zombies from last year? I thought that was from watching a scary movie, answered Mom. No, said Jamie. It's from seeing that kid. When I saw him, I was like, ah! And I ran away. Wait a minute, said Mom, getting serious. Did you do that in front of him? I couldn't help it, said Jamie, kind of whining. Of course you could help it, Mom scolded. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed by what I'm hearing. And she looked like she sounded. I mean, honestly, he's just a little boy, just like you. Can you imagine how he felt to see you running away from him, Jamie? Screaming? It wasn't a scream, argued Jamie. It was like an ah! He pushed his hands on his cheeks and started running around the kitchen. Come on, Jamie, said Mom angrily. I honestly thought both my boys were more sympathetic than that. What's sympathetic? Said Jamie, who was only going into the second grade. You know exactly what I mean by sympathetic, Jamie said. It's just, he's so ugly, Mommy, said Jamie. Hey, Mom yelled, I don't like that word. Jamie, just get your juice box. I want to talk to Jack alone for a second. Look, Jack, said Mom as soon as he left, and I knew she was about to give me a whole speech. Okay, I'll do it, I said, which I completely shocked her. You will? Yes. So I can call Mr. Tushman. Yes, Mom. Yes, I said, yes. Mom smiled. I knew you'd rise to the occasion, kiddo. Good for you. I'm proud of you, Jackie. She messed up my hair. So here's why I changed my mind. It wasn't so I wouldn't have to hear my mom give me a whole lecture, and it wasn't to protect this kid, August, from Julian, who I know would be a jerk about the whole thing. It was because when I heard Jamie talking about how he had run away from August going, ah, I suddenly felt really bad. The thing is, there are always going to be kids like Julian who are jerks. But if a little kid like Jamie, who's usually a nice enough kid, can be that mean, then a kid like August doesn't stand a chance in middle school. Four things. First of all, you don't get used to his face. The first couple of times I was like, whoa, I'm never going to get used to this. And then, first of all, you do get used to his face. The first couple of times I was like, whoa, I'm never going to get used to this. And then after a week, I was like, it's not so bad. Second of all, he's actually a really cool kid. I mean, he's pretty funny. Like the teacher will say something and August will whisper something funny to me that no one else hears and totally makes me crack up. He's also just overall a nice kid. Like he's easy to hang out with and talk to and stuff. Third of all, he's really smart. I thought he'd be behind everyone because he hadn't gone to school before, but in most things, he's way ahead of me. I mean, maybe not as smart as Charlotte or Jimena, but he's up there. And unlike Charlotte or Jimena, He lets me cheat off him if I really need to, though I'm only needed to do a couple times. He also let me copy his homework once, though we both got in trouble for it after class. The two of you got the same exact answers wrong on yesterday's homework, Miss Rubin said, looking at both of us like she was waiting for an explanation. I didn't know what to say because the explanation would have been, oh, that's because I copied August's homework. But August lied to protect me. He was like, oh, that's because we did our homework together last night, which wasn't true at all. Well, doing homework together is a good thing, Miss Rubin answered, but you're supposed to still do it separately, okay? You could work side by side if you want, but you can't actually do your homework together. Got it? After we left the classroom, I said, dude, thanks for doing that. And he was like, no problem. That was cool. Fourthly, now that I know him, I would say I actually do want to be friends with August. At first, I admit I was only friendly to him because Mr. Tushman asked me to be especially nice and all that. But now I would choose to hang out with him. He laughs at my jokes, and I kind of feel like I can tell August anything, like he's a really good friend. Like if all the guys in the 5th grade were lined up against the wall and I got to choose anyone I wanted to hang out with, I would choose August. And that is where we are going to end today. Just a couple of things. If you recall, when we read a couple days ago, Halloween, when we were still in part 1 and August is part of the story, what was Jack doing with all of the boys in the classroom when he was sitting with Julian and they didn't know that August was there? He's sitting here telling us how great August is, how funny he is, and how smart he is, and what a great friend he is. But yet, he didn't rise to the occasion. When August wasn't around, how did he act? Even though we know by what we read and hear his inner thoughts, how he felt, it is not what he acted upon. So I can't wait to join you tomorrow again online to see where we continue with Jack Will, if he finds out why August is not mad at him and if he figures it out. Boys and girls, have a wonderful afternoon, or evening I should say, and I will see you all, or you will see me all, tomorrow, morning announcements, and tomorrow is Friday, last day of Virtual Spirit Week, and it is School Spirit Day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.